In 2009, the Societe de Havre de Montreal, a group responsible for waterfront redevelopment, unveiled their Bonaventure Project. The elevated Bonaventure Expressway into downtown will be lowered and replaced by an urban boulevard. The SHM also proposes a bus corridor running alongside the boulevard, right through an historic community known as Griffintown.
I'm part of a coalition, a citizens group here in Griffintown that's opposed to the Dalhousie corridor, which is a portion of the Societe du Havre's Bonaventure project that's supposed to come imminently within the next year or so. So as far as the Dalhousie corridor goes, it presents a lot of problems for the residents, namely the pollution, the security, the heritage building aspect, and the expropriations. As far as we're concerned, we're going to be expropriated, and a building that we own is going to be demolished in order to pass the buses through.
Okay, so here's the proposed Dalhousie lineup. We have the edge of our building here, which is going to completely be demolished in order for the Dalhousie corridor to pass through. So the edge of the building is the left edge of the Dalhousie corridor. So it spans, it's about 37 feet out that way. And it'll pass right through the CN elevated rails at about where that big slab of concrete is. So it'll go through there and reach the beginning of Dalhousie Street, which we can sort of see on the other side of the rails. It'll follow Dalhousie all the way to the red brick building at the very end, which is the Baron Sport building, at which point it'll take a left-hand turn and then turn right immediately after at the end of the building in order to join the existing bus route all the way to the 1000 de la Gauchetière, the tallest building in Montreal, where they house the downtown bus terminus.
It's been a year and a half now that we've been following the project, and that we've been closely analyzing the different aspects to see if these expropriations are truly in the public's interest, because this is the only way that expropriations can be justified, if they're in the interest of the public. And what we're discovering with the Dalhousie project and now with the Bonaventure project as a whole is that it doesn't answer to the common interest, particularly if you consider the fact that the Griffintown residents, the whole of Griffintown, really has been ignored by the promoter of this project.
The promoter, SHM, held a public forum for citizens to voice their opposition to the Bonaventure project. Most of those who spoke at the forum were against the idea of a bus corridor on Dalhousie Street.
I've been following all the projects in the Southwest. There's a massive transition happening in the Southwest, and this is just one of the minor elements that the city and the provincial government are trying to do in isolation of each other, and I'm here to reorient their priorities to look at the full and complete transition that's happening in the Southwest of Montreal, and that this is not, in fact, one solid, small, simple project. It is a component of a full, complete transition of the Southwest of Montreal.
It is not a simple, isolated element. It is a full, complete transition of the Southwest. This is the final gateway to the city.
One big issue is cost. Those who've been following this project want to know what the financial impact of the corridor will be to the city and Griffintown.
Basically, the corridor is winding up looking like it might cost more than the actual demolition project and boulevard project. This is insane. And it was subject to no real serious studies. It's shoved over in another neighborhood. Against all kinds of interests, and this is where the flashpoint is this issue right here. Financial, democratically, planning-wise, it violates a whole lot of principles. They still maintain they're not changing the bus corridor. The bus corridor is there to stay. They say it over and over and over again. And everybody's wondering, what is the interest behind this bus corridor that makes it so vital? To reduce it to its simplest expression, it is estimated to cost $120 million, and it saves 30 seconds over buses that would go on the boulevard itself. Now, 30 seconds is such a marginal gain that it is considered to be statistically insignificant. So there's obviously some other reason for this bus corridor, but it's not been revealed by the SHM.
A major concern for residents is the environmental and health problems associated with the large amount of vehicles coming through the neighborhood.
Currently, there are 800 buses or 800 bus passages in Griffintown that roll over a distance of 200 meters. This number is going to multiply by 5 if you consider that there's going to be 2,000 bus passages through Griffintown, and they're going to roll over a span of 700 meters. So we're talking about 5 times more pollution in Griffintown than actually. What the Societe du Havre is trying to do, and this is a very good intention of theirs, is to tie the links between the old neighborhoods together again. By bringing the autoroute down, they want to sew the urban fabric back together. However, their Dalhousie bus corridor comes and completely dismisses this intention because it itself creates a barrier of buses between Griffintown and the old Montreal.
This issue has brought Montrealers from around the city together to ask if there's an alternative to the SHM bus corridor plan.
I don't think the urban boulevard has really raised a whole lot of angst with people. In fact, a lot of people, myself included, think it's a good project. And this is a point I think that's worth underscoring. It may have some flaws to it, but they're not fatal. The concept of demolishing an expressway, as many cities have done, by the way, of transforming it into an urban boulevard as a new point of entry in the city is in itself a very viable project. It's made all the more viable insofar as the boulevard itself, the lanes heading in each direction, are widely separated, allowing for new urban lots to be created between them, which raises the possibility of real estate development in that sector, which in itself is also good and holds out the potential for, in a sense, self-financing of the project. The plan I proposed is that it is strange that the SHM's own studies produced by TechSalt, the consulting firm, recommended that they look seriously into a commuter train that could take the pressure off the bus traffic and bring people in by train over the very same CN viaduct that we're talking about in the middle of this whole thing and right into Central Station. And they never pursued that.
This is not the first redevelopment plan faced by Griffintown residents, but it may be the defining one.
There was another project in Griffintown that was happening. It was the Devimco project, the Griffintown project. And as far as the Societe du Havre was concerned, Griffintown was Devimco. So it was only with Devimco that they were coordinating. We were all here before the projects, the Griffintown project and the SHM project, but we didn't know each other. We would walk by each other in the street without saying hello, without a warm embrace. And now we have the beginnings of a community. And hopefully we're going to be able to keep this momentum going and together as a community elaborate a vision, a common vision for the Griffintown that would fit in well with the SHM's proposal and that would tie the links between our neighborhood and the old Montreal together again.